What's up, family? So on the second day of Christmas, we're talking about building trust. Okay, building trust. Now, before I get into the topic, I want to explain something that I didn't explain yesterday about the 12 days of Christmas. So if you're like me, then you probably thought that the 12 days of Christmas started December 14th and ended December 25th. But actually, it starts on Christmas Day and then ends January the 5th. It's the time from the birth of Christ till when the wise men show up 12 days later. Okay, now, of course, we know Christ was not born December 25th, but it is the day that we celebrate his birth. Okay, so for those of you who are thinking, man, Christmas been over, why is he still doing 12 days of Christmas? Now you know why. Okay, so today we're talking about building trust. Can you imagine life without trust? Right? Just think for a second. How would you get to work if you didn't trust that your car could get you there? How could you be healthy if you didn't trust that vegetables were good for you? Every time you get on the plane, you got to trust, you got to have a certain level of trust in the pilot, in the plane, in the mechanic who inspected the plane, right? But the thing is, I bet you never think about those things. Like, they don't ever cross your mind. More than likely, you would only think about those kind of things if you had injuries surrounding that. Otherwise, trust don't cross your mind, right? If we lived in a world without trust, it would not be long before the human race was extinct. Like we wouldn't be able to survive, we wouldn't be able to exist. That's how crucial trust is. In marriage, we don't even think about marriage. We don't think about trust in marriage usually until the trust is broken. And most of the times, even when we think about it then, it's surrounding infidelity of some sort, right? But my thing is, the reason this is one of the skills for the 12 days of Christmas is because I want you to have an awareness of the trust in your marriage long before you have to rebuild it. It's not just the area of fidelity that you need to have trust in. Your lack of trust in other areas can also make your marriage unenjoyable and disconnected. Maybe you know, or at least you feel strongly that your partner will never cheat. Right? That's not your issue. No, they'll never cheat. Okay. But do you trust that your partner will share their true thoughts and emotions with you? Do you trust them to keep their word when they say they're going to change a behavior? Do you trust your partner when they see you hurting? Do you trust that they will comfort you? See, the truth is, nothing in life works without trust. Nothing. So there's a saying that we have when it comes to trusting God, and it goes like this: when you trust, you don't worry. When you worry, you don't trust. Right? Now that's good for when you're trusting God, but watch this. It's good for everything. If you're trying to cross a giant bridge, like seeing a lot of water is just intimidating to me. So if there's a bridge over a big body of water, if I trust in the strength of the bridge, then I'm not going to worry going across the bridge. But if you don't trust the strength of the bridge, then you're going to worry as you cross, if you cross. Okay? So when you worry, you don't trust. When you trust, you don't worry. Here's how Webster defines trust. Trust is assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. Trust is assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. Now, in marriage, trust is the belief that your spouse is reliable and safe. Belief that they will not harm you. Okay. Trust is not about how you feel. I need to make sure that you hear me when I say that trust is not, I don't feel like trust is not about how you feel. Trust is about a belief based on information. Now, some people may believe that they don't, I heard a guy say, I don't trust people. That's probably not true, because if that were true, then you wouldn't be on the freeway. If that were true, you wouldn't be able to ride elevators. Right? If that were true, you wouldn't be able to go to the grocery store if you did not trust people. What you mean is you don't trust people who remind you of the pain that you've been through, but everybody trusts. Okay. And when we talk about building trust, here's the question: where are we going to build it? Right? Here's where you're going to build it. You're going to build trust in your partner's mind. The trust you build is for your partner's safety, not your safety. The trust you build is not for you, it's for them. John Gottman says that happily married couples trust that their spouse will be there for them when needed most, and unhappy couples do not trust that their partner will be there for them when they need it most. We are created for connection. How many of you heard me say that before, right? I have a whole course/class called Created for Connection. We're created for connection, but guess what? Connection is built on trust. Let me say it this way: connection is not possible without trust. Yeah, connection needs some other things, but without trust, it's not going to happen. One more thing before I talk about how to improve your trust building skill, okay? Stop expecting your partner to trust you in areas that you have not proven you are trustworthy. Stop expecting them to trust you in areas you have not proven. That's the key word, that you are trustworthy. See, most of the times we extend trust to people who haven't earned it, right? We just give it away. And see, some of you are mad that your partner don't just give you trust in an area that you haven't proven that you can be trusted. You think that because you believe you're a good person, or because you believe you are better than their ex, right? Then they should just automatically trust you. And although a lot of us do that, it is actually unwise. It is unwise to just shell out blind trust when folk have not earned it, including the person you love. So stop expecting your partner, your spouse, to blindly trust you, and stop getting mad when they don't. Like, have a conversation and ask them what's causing the distrust so that I can work on it. So now here's some things you want to focus on in order to be a trust builder, right? We're trying to work on this skill of building trust. So number one, be the kind of person that keeps your word. Develop the habit of not saying things that you don't intend to follow through on. When you say you're going to do something to, for, or with your partner, keep your word. Okay. When you say you're going to address a problem that your partner has, that they have a problem with something about you, your character, whatever. Whenever you say you're going to address a problem, address it. Right? Keeping your word helps build trust. Why? Because it makes you more reliable. Number two, be a person of integrity. When you operate in integrity, you will build trust, right? Integrity is who you are when no one is watching. I heard somebody say this: integrity is who you are when the lights and the cameras are not on, right? Not who you present yourself to be on social media or in your group of whatever. It's who you are when you're alone with yourself. I remember a few years ago, I bought a lawnmower at Home Depot. It was an electric lawnmower, so it was like $500 for this lawnmower. Well, after about a month, it stopped working. So I took it back to Home Depot to exchange it. Well, when I get to Home Depot, they're almost closed, right? And so they were not really focused on like what I needed. But so I got there, the lady said, hey, okay, so go down to the service desk and they'll take care of you. So I get to the service desk, they refund me. But when they refund me, then they say, okay, so now leave this one here, the broke one here, go get another one off the shelf, and then go down to the other end and you can pay for it. I go get the lawnmower, but when I get to the other end, remember, they're closing. So their focus is elsewhere. But the young lady that was at the other end to help me check out, she was calling over a guy to help me load it up because she thought we took care of everything at the service desk, right? So at that point, I was in a dilemma. It wasn't a hard dilemma, but we're trying to be dramatic, right? I was in a dilemma. Do I just put the lawnmower in the car? Or do I tell them, no, I ain't paid for it yet? Because nobody would know. Like, she thought I already paid for it. I could have went on out the door and no one would have been the wiser. Now, my wife was with me. She would have known. And my son may have been with me. I don't know. But as far as getting caught, no police, no jail, no nothing. No one would have known. But watch this. I would have known. and God would have known. My integrity would not let me, because I knew I wasn't, that was not right. Right now, let me just tell you, I don't like it when I have to be the example. That came to my mind, and so I wanted to share that. I was going to say I had another one, but you don't need no more stories about me. You know what integrity is, right? When you're not a person of integrity, you will be sowing seeds of distrust. Yep. You'll be sowing seeds of distrust. And speaking of sowing seeds of distrust, another way you sow seeds of distrust, talking about integrity, is by gossiping or talking behind someone's back. Okay? When you talk behind someone's back to your partner, even if your partner is entertained by it or whatever, you are sowing seeds of distrust. Don't do that, right? Be a person of integrity. Number 3, keep your marital business between you and your partner unless your partner is okay with who you're sharing with. Okay? In other words, don't share intimate details with someone that you know your spouse would not want you sharing with. Keep stuff in-house unless you both have agreed, okay, this is somebody safe, we can share with them. They're a therapist, or it's a friend of the marriage, or what. Even if it's your friend, it could be just your friend and not their friend. But your partner needs to agree and approve with you sharing. Otherwise, don't do that. You will break the trust. Okay. And then here's the last one. The last one for the second day of Christmas, to help you develop the skill of building trust. Practice open communication. Yeah, practice open communication. If you want to be a trust builder, you got to be open with your communication. Like you can't be shut down and closed off if you want to be a trustworthy person, right? What does that mean? It means when your partner has done something that you don't like, or when you see them heading in the wrong direction in life, say something, right? When you hold it in, it not only makes it hard to trust you, but it is also unloving. Okay? Don't let your partner walk around thinking they are doing marriage well when actually in your head, they're not doing it well. You're not being a trusting friend when you do that, right? And how does that build distrust? Because I have several clients who one person don't have a problem expressing their issues, but the other person, they hold stuff in. And so the other person, they don't bring up their issues until this person brings up their issue. And so they can never resolve anything because they're always trying to deal with more than one thing at one time, because one of them is not being a trustworthy person by being open and honest with what's going on inside of them. Okay? You have to be vulnerable enough to share. When your partner steps on your feet, you got to say, hey, that actually hurt me. Can we talk about it? Don't just hold that in, right? You are weakening the trust when you do that. Also, you have to make sure that you've made it safe for your partner to be open, honest, and transparent. Okay? When you do that, then now you are building trust. Okay? You got to make it safe for them to be able to share. Like I'm telling your partner, hey, don't hold things in. I'm telling you too, but I'm telling your partner, if they're listening to this, don't hold things in, but you got to make it safe so they're not inclined to hold things in. And if they are inclined, y'all have a conversation, find out where the trust issue is so y'all can work that out. Okay? Now, these things that I'm encouraging to do them on a regular and consistent basis. If you do them on a regular and consistent basis, then these things that you are normally doing will not only build trust, it'll be good for rebuilding trust. Yeah, it's good to rebuild trust when trust is broken, doing these same things. Now, you may have to do some extra things specifically related to the area of the broken trust, but these things that I mentioned will help you in rebuilding trust. Okay? So I hope that this was helpful for you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Well, I actually won't see you. You'll see me. You guys will see me tomorrow on the third day of Christmas. Y'all take care.